Today I have the pleasure to be with Markus Richter, a leading expert in Europe in government IT and digital policy. Markus, you are currently acting as the State Secretary and Federal Government in Germany for IT, for information technology. And you're also recognized in Germany, but also across Europe for your experience in digital strategies and their implementations, but also focusing especially on digital inclusion, cybersecurity and sovereignty, something that you mentioned in several of your addresses before. So, welcome. Hello.
Thank you.
First question maybe from my side is, with all the projects that you see happening in Germany around digital transformation, could you give us one example of a successful project that you have followed in Germany?
Well, in Germany, we've got to realize that we are not speaking about a single state. We've got 16 states within Germany and the federal level. And we've got about 11,400 cities, and they are all responsible for digitization of their own area. And therefore, the most important project I see there is implementing the principle one for all. Because in former times, everyone was doing everything and it didn't fit together. And in our times, through this new access, we share solutions. So we have contracts between the federal level, the states, the cities, and there are specific states which are responsible for a certain topic, like housing, funding, and they are they're responsible for this topic and digitize it and offer then the solution to the other ones. So it is run at one point, but everyone within Germany, all entities can have access to it. And this is a game changer in Germany because we've got such a fragmented environment of processes. And now we are coming to a point where we put these processes on the topic, because if you want to implement such a solution in your environment, then you have to make sure that you're talking about the same processes. And that's quite interesting to see.
Yeah. I can imagine, and with a lot of synergies. But looking into this project or other projects, what are for you key lessons learned that you saw and that you would like to share with other, for example, member states facing similar challenges when tackling digital transformation?
Well, we all have to face that we have to work closer together, also on a cross-border level, due to the fact that there are technological changes, improvements, new solutions, where it is important that we are not sitting on our island, but really cooperate. And what I learned out of this project One for All is that we have to address several topics of digitization. In the beginning in this project, we were just focusing on the digital solution, on the software. So one member state, one state within Germany created a solution and offered it to other ones. But then we had to face it that we have to take this slogan one for all, not only on the technical solution, but also on the legal framework, on the question on financing, on the question of standards, infrastructure, also on the question on how we also take the society as a part of this process. And therefore, if we talk about digitization, we are not only talking about digital solutions and IT solutions. In fact, we are more talking about how do we cooperate together and how do we create a common process? How do we share data, for instance? All these questions are also relevant when it comes to a cross-border cooperation. I mean, we've got interoperability. We've got the need to sharing data. SDG is a great vehicle to do so. But I'm convinced that the further we go into this improvement, the more we will see that we have to address also other topics which are linked to data sharing, like standards, not only technical standards, but semantic standards, data standards, and to really create an infrastructure where we all work together on. What we see in Germany out of this project, One for All, is right now that there are so many dependencies. So if you change something in the solution in Hamburg, for instance, in Germany, then there you can see effects to Munich, which is a city in the south of Germany. And so they have to coordinate a little bit. They've got to cooperate. They've got to be aware, when do we change what? And I think we will come on a European level in exactly the same situation within the next years.
Very interesting. If I may jump a bit on, you emphasized the collaboration. How do you address collaboration in a sustainable manner when you think about the political context in Europe, where not only at political level, but also in general, when you see the levels of administration, if we focus really on the public sector, or also on the elections happening in the different countries at different paces. So how can we actually tackle this? What are your takes on this?
Well, we are coming out of a time where there is so much cooperation on binational, trinational level, and that's doing well, but it depends on certain people who are running these projects. What we need now is to improve the quality of our cooperation, not depending on single persons within the member states or within the EU Commission. We have to create a governance which puts us into a situation where we cooperate on a sustainable way. And there I see certain instruments to do so. One is the interoperability board, which will be implemented this year. And I'm so pleased, some weeks ago we had an exchange between the CIOs of the member states that we all want to use this new governance which is coming up there to address all the points which are relevant for cross-border digitization. And therefore I'm really looking forward to fill this up with life and to bring in not only the specific topic of standard setting, but also skills, new technology, open source, cloud computing, AI. Where are the points where we think as member states we should cooperate more and make transparent who's working on what?
And many of the things you are saying about open source, interoperability, the Interoperable Europe board under the Act now, are to me connected with SEMIC, but how do you see the role of SEMIC into this playing field?
SEMIC is a community which created the ground so that we are now in the position to see clearer what are the next steps which should be undertaken to really create the future. And so I see here the SEMIC as a ground which is used to a cross-border addressing way of topics. And I think we should use this experience and bring it in a sustainable governance. And therefore, I'm so happy to be in contact with many attendances of SEMIC who are working on this topic for several years. They are really experts on, and they can advise what should be done. And I think when it comes to the interoperability board, we would do well to use this expertise which is created here and bring it also into when we work on specific agendas, which I think we should do to make these things really happening and create the future, not just depending on what's coming up and where we are forced through technology in a certain direction, but working on options, possibilities, so that governance in their sovereignty can decide what they want to use and what not. How could a marketplace look like through which we can benefit from solutions from other countries? So this should be done, and therefore SEMIC is the perfect ground to implement also this expertise.
Great. Would you like to mention specific points that you would see SEMIC doing in the future in order to improve or to have an increased impact?
Absolutely. I mean, the first point is that we have to fill up now this sustainable governance I was talking about. There, we should create a clear strategy with an agenda on the question on software solutions, secure and sovereign infrastructures, on the topic of data exchange, but also on the topic of innovation and the skill theme, sharing expertise. And there, when we come to such an agenda, and I see SEMIC as a ground where they can contribute to this agenda. then we should work on concrete solutions, make visible these steps. And there again, SEMIC can play an important role to focus a little bit more on a common agenda, on a cross-border common agenda.
Great, very interesting. Maybe a last question from my side is, you mentioned the strategy, the common strategy, the common vision, but also the different blocks in which SEMIC could be active, bringing a certain angle from semantic interoperability into those fields. How, from your current position as State Secretary, could you help to make this happen?
Well, I'm working very hard on this infrastructure and using also these expertise. My role, I see as my role, not only looking at my responsibility as at my member state, because I see we are limited, especially when it comes to new technologies, again, cloud computing, open source. We won't be able as one country to move the market in the direction so that it fits our needs of the future. And therefore, we have to come closer together, and I'm very convinced and hardworking on creating a space where SEMIC can bring in their experience, their solutions, make visible what they're working on. And therefore, I really want to create something like a Silicon Valley of GovTech in Europe, opening up the innovation ecosystems of member states, so that I am from Germany, for instance, as a state secretary, I am in the position to also directly work together with startups in France, Estonia, or wherever. So I think we've got great approaches within the member states. If we bring them together, then SEMIC can have a great role to be the oil in this system.
Yeah, the catalyst, I understand. Yeah, great. With this and with those very interesting points, I would like to thank you very much. And yeah, I hope we see each other soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Markus.
Okay.